Again, welcome. We're going to talk about the Treehouse Cares project, and I am super excited about this. I think this is a long time coming. So as many of you may know, the Treehouse Cares project, it is a temporary project where funding is going to be available from December 31st or through December 31st. So the CARE project is a temporary funding program through the Federal CARES Act, and we are partnering with DCYF. We received a $1.3 million grant for tutoring and other support services in this very rough year for kids and for all of us, really. This program is going to pay for tutoring. It's going to help eliminate financial barriers to success in school for both youth in foster care and young adults in foster care. So it's really exciting stuff. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what funding covers, and I'll go over it real quickly, and then Sarah's going to cover it a little more in detail. So what can this funding cover? We're going to cover materials and experiences that support social and emotional development and really encourage youth to stay engaged in school. I think one of our biggest needs that we've seen, and probably all of you have seen, that kids have really disengaged in school and have really been struggling, some of them. So what we are offering right now is paid tutoring, and that is not, Treehouse will be doing the funding, but we do not have tutors at Treehouse specifically. This is going to be an outside provider, and this is virtual and in person. We're going to be doing academic remediation. We'll help fund school supplies and equipment, also funding for extracurricular activities and summer school and summer camps. And again, this is going to be available now through December 31st or until funds are used. Yes. So who's eligible for the Treehouse Cares project? Well, for many of you who've used Treehouse services before or are familiar, it's going to be a lot of our kids that are already eligible for services with some exceptions. So this funding is going to cover school age and post-secondary youth residing in the state of Washington. And school age is being defined as starting at pre-K. Youth have to be dependents out of the state of Washington through DCYF. They have to be in an out-of-home placement, or they can be in a trial return home, which is great. Or they can also be in extended foster care. And for many of you probably know that the extended foster care guidelines have been expanded right now, and youth, even past the age of 21, are still able to stay in extended foster care due to the pandemic. Kids can also be in out-of-home care on a shelter care order, so that dependency doesn't necessarily have to be established yet. Youth who are in tribal court jurisdiction will also be eligible. We will be having a training for tribal social workers on the 12th of this month. And also our kids who are already enrolled in our graduation success program through Treehouse or our launch success programs. So they're all going to be eligible for this funding. Oh, thanks. Okay. And then our referral process. It's a pretty easy process, and we'll go through it really fast, and we will have people available if you have questions later on and through the referral process when you're trying to make one. So the great thing is kids who have a current Treehouse referral, so let's say you have a kid who has been in services since July of this program year, you do not need to make any referral, and we will requests can simply be made, and we will verify the eligibility through social workers. That's a really important point. Due to our contract, we have to make sure that kids meet the eligibility criteria at the time of the actual funding request. Kids without a current Treehouse referral, social workers will need to make a referral through our Treehouse portal. And some of you who are familiar with making referrals through FamLink, we're going to switch you over a little bit, and we're going to have you go through our website for this funding. And it's a really easy process. You can set up an account by emailing our referrals email, and I think we can put this in the chat as well. And they will help you set up account and you can go for there. So for kids to qualify for this funding, we need both a referral and a request as well. Yeah, so caregivers, youth, and social workers can submit funding requests through our website after the referral has been submitted. And I know that's a little confusing. A referral is just one initial referral, and then for each funding request, once that referral is made, you can go in and make multiple funding requests through our sites. And here it is. So here is, this is a slide from our website. So it's really simple. You just go through our services. And this is at treehouseforkids.org. You can learn all about the CARES project by just dropping down on this menu. And to make a referral, it's circled right there. You can go ahead and just click on that and we'll walk you through that process. And this is a screenshot of what it would look like. So if you're familiar with the referral account, you already have one, you can log in and go ahead and make that referral right through this account, or go ahead and request an account and we'll get that all set up for you. We will be hiring additional staff to help with this influx of referrals and requests. So we're just asking that you get those in as soon as possible. We know this has been a tough year for kids, and we really want to do everything we can to help support them. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah Mazer, and she can go from there.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Hello, everybody. Just making sure, Michelle, you can hear me okay, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. So this is Sarah Mazer. I am the program manager for our Financial Resources Department at Treehouse, which covers the CARES project, just-in-time funding, and the driver's assistance program. But today we're talking about CARES. So here exactly is some examples of what Treehouse can pay for with the CARES project funding. So paid tutoring is one of the main things we're really excited about. We can start paying for with these funds. We can pay for up to 12 sessions of in-person or virtual tutoring per a funding request. So really we ask that whoever's submitting the request, whether it's the caregiver or the social worker, is able to identify a tutor for their youth that's close to them in the community if they want to do in-person or a place that would offer virtual tutoring. Determine the type of tutoring. So is it going to be for math, English, what subject, where it's at, and really the length of tutoring services. So that should be identified first before submitting a request, because then you're able to provide all of the tutor resource or tutor information, the payment details, so that we're able to go in and just make that payment as smoothly as possible. And so if the youth is ready to continue tutoring after those 12 sessions, or if those 12 sessions are getting close to an end and you realize that they're needing more, then you can absolutely submit another funding request so that we can make sure that we continue to pay for those sessions. We also can pay for academic remediation, which would mean credit recovery, possibly summer school. Those are some of the things we can pay for if the funds are not available other places. And sometimes I know like the school districts can pay for these things. So if there's a situation where that can't happen, Treehouse can step in and provide support to remove that barrier. We can pay for school supplies and school equipment. So, you know, some examples of that are coming up back to school supplies at the beginning of next program or school year, or if just at the end of this school year, they're needing something to hold off till the last couple months, we can purchase and send those items. Laptops or other technology needed to participate in school. I know many schools are providing laptops right now, but you know, if that's a barrier, please reach out and submit a request for a laptop. We do ask when you're submitting requests to provide a direct link to a specific laptop or specific school supplies. Just really be as detailed as possible as you can in those requests, so that you can lead us to exactly where we need to go to make that purchase. And then for extracurricular activities, that looks like sports or music lessons as a few examples. And then, of course, summer camp is another activity that we can pay for. And those are starting to, we're starting to get some summer camp requests coming in. So we're really excited about that. So really, I think the most important thing is that when you're submitting a request, it can come from the caregiver, the social worker, the caregiver, the social worker, or the youth themselves for the funding request. And we really just want to make sure that all the information is in place before submitting it. So some of the important parts to remember before submitting a funding request is that making sure that a youth is eligible for the funding at the time of the request. And we'll know that by either submitting a referral or checking eligibility, make sure that a referral has been submitted at some point in this program year, or if they're eligible or currently active in the Launch Success Program and Grad Success Program, they're eligible for this funding. Once a funding request is submitted, a Treehouse staff member will contact you to discuss the request. And then so it's usually by email, but if you specifically note in there that you like to be contacted by phone, we're happy to call as well. And then we say, of course, make sure that you choose a vendor and confirm if they need a payment by check, that they're able to take the check first, because we've had some issues where we send a check and then they can't accept it. So I want to make sure that that's all in place first. And then just to let you all know, the payment processing, it can take up to 3 weeks. We're really trying to hire some staff so we can lower that time frame. And we're working on that and hope to have a new staff start, at least one new staff starting in April. But really, depending on the type of payment, it may delay that processing time. For example, if we need to mail a check, it's going to take a little bit longer. And we might need to collect some required information or documentation, depending on the request itself. And so a CARES funding request, as Michelle kind of noted earlier, this is kind of your catch-all place on our website, is under the Our Services tab. You can learn about eligibility and lots of stuff, but here is where you can find the CARES project information. And you would select that and then scroll to the bottom of the page where it says funding request and just start filling it out. That request form is emailed directly to our just-in-time or financial resources team, and then they are working through processing that request. You should always receive an email that confirms that you've submitted a request. It sometimes can go to your junk box, so just keep an eye out for that email. And that's really how you'll know that the request has been submitted. And then, so if you're interested in learning more, please check out our website. We'll have the most updated information on the CARES project and all of our other programs. We are also going to be adding an FAQ sheet to that will come from the questions we hear from you today. And then we also excitedly will have a caregiver training as well to teach them how to submit funding requests. This will be on March 10th, and here's the link that you can register at. And then if you have just really like individual questions about a specific request you're curious about, please email the team that is processing those requests, and that is at justintimefunding@treehouseforkids.org. And go one more. So on our website, we also have some tutoring resources in our resource center. And I just wanted to share with these with you today. So here are for folks while you're confirming eligibility, or for those who may not be eligible for the paid tutoring or just feel more comfortable accessing the tutoring out of their public library. Here are some resources for that. Most of the cases you must have a library card to access these tutoring resources. However, if the student does not have a library card, we have a partnership with iFoster, who is able to provide tutoring accounts through them. And you can request a library card online that way. So the instructions for this, I'm just going to go back a couple more slides, are on our resource center, which is right here. So on our website, you can select resource center, and that's where you would find all of these resources listed out. And we're continually adding more as much as possible, more resources as we learn about them. So like we said, keep continuing to check back our website as much as possible. And that concludes the end of this training.